Today on Locked On Red Wings, Detroit's exciting comeback falls short as they lose to Buffalo in the shootout, officially eliminating them from playoff contention.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I'm a podcast producer for the Daily J, a WWJ News Radio podcast. Well, Scotty's the host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a freelance journalist for the Detroit News. Scotty, it finally happened. The Red Wings have officially been eliminated from playoff contention after losing in a shootout to the Buffalo Sabres, though it would have happened regardless to whether or not they won this hockey game, because they could have been eliminated today if Panthers and Islanders both won, and they both won in pretty convincing fashion as well. But hey, heck of a ride this season's been.
Yeah, man, made it. I mean, again, like I've said this before, I'll say it again. You know, if my mindset on all of these is if you were to go back to our like preseason expectations episode, and if you were to ask me or tell me, I guess, rather than that this team would technically not get eliminated from the postseason until April 6th with whatever 4 or 5 games left, I think I'd take that as a good sign.
Yeah. Losing in the shootout was also their 80th point on the season, which is now 6 points improved over last season. Now that you're officially eliminated from the playoffs, I still want to see the team game to game go out and compete as best they can. But now I'm really like, if they lose, I'll be like, okay, well, now it's like purely beneficial for us to lose, because there's literally nothing left to play for besides just trying to win the hockey game for the passion of the sport. And there's something to be said about that. But from a business standpoint and a general management standpoint, it's like, all right, well, now we can just like, don't get me wrong. I'd still love it because my goal was if they hit 85 points, I'd have been in love. Like, that's where I'd have been like, this team's like, oh, like just right on the cusp. But I mean, 80 points, that's a huge step forward. So eliminated. I think I'll survive if they lose the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll survive, but like I don't know. I wasn't clinging on to anything. I've been very well aware that this team wasn't going to make the playoffs for about a month now. So my mindset has not changed literally at all with the pure elimination of the team. But
I had no.
No. I'm not saying you did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. We had a conversation a couple of days ago where I had said that, like I still want us to go out there and win every night and whatnot, and that that doesn't change at all for me. But I also am certainly not going to lose sleep with losses at this point.
I have had a go down swinging mentality for the last month of the season. Like, just drag it out for as long as possible. Make games hell for the other team, and they've done that. I mean, this was a prime example.
No kidding.
This was an all offense, and we talked about it in our preview last night, Scotty. Buffalo's a glass cannon. They are 100% offense, no goaltending,
Biggest
no
lock in
defense.
FanDuel sports betting history is the over on Buffalo Sabres games. Let me tell you.
The Red Wings decided they were going to match that energy in this game, and it ended up being a 7-6 final with 12 goals scored over the course of 65 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, you almost doubled the over-under.
It was an insane game. And when it comes to the actual conversation regarding the game, Scotty, I don't even know where to begin because there's just so much to talk about.
So, like, after the season, I'm not saying this is necessarily an episode because this is a little too, like, niche and specific to, like, truly rank them, and it's 82 games or whatnot. But if you were to rank every single game the Red Wings played based on just, like, chaos, like a chaos ranking, this might legitimately be the number one on this season. Like, this is up there to me with do you remember was it Toronto last year?
Yeah.
Like that's like that game was very nuts too, and ended up having 12 or 13 goals or whatever. But this is right up there with one of the more chaotic Red Wings games of recent memory, and it was absolutely awesome. I guess to start, like, it was a really physical game. I mean, we can start kind of general and then get more specific, I guess. Like, It was a really, really physical game. There's a lot of chippiness. We'll talk about the fight and the scuffle and whatnot that happened with Larkin there. But really, I mean, Seider got targeted. Like, and he was throwing the body back too. Don't get me wrong. Like he was absolutely hitting him back, but they like clearly were making it a point to go after the big hitter on our team, and he was making it a point to be the big hitter on our team. So that led to a lot of high intensity, really physical style of hockey, and yeah, it kind of all came to a peak twice. Once with the Larkin thing, and then once after the final, I think it was the final buzzer in the third period before overtime with the Ben Sherratt one as well. So, yeah, definitely a very physical and high intensity game along with all the goal scoring.
Yeah, the physicality was definitely the most insane part in my mind because the Red Wings aren't typically a very physical team. They have
We
guys
talk
who
all
aren't
the
afraid of.
time about when it is a physical game, they
Yeah.
suck because they don't have anyone that can match that style of play. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Ottawa games, for example. The Ottawa brought a physical and hard forechecking style, and the Red Wings crumbled. And then the Buffalo Sabres come out, and the Red Wings just laying Oli Mata, obliterating a guy along the blue
Yeah,
line of all
literally.
people. Like, what is going on? But that didn't necessarily. I love physical hockey, but that didn't necessarily lead to good results all the time. And I mean, I think we should probably address the big elephant in the room, which was that Larkin scuffle that happened near the end of the first that literally resulted in 2 goals against. Before I speak on it, Scott, I want to hear your opinion on it. Where do you stand on Larkin's action in that moment?
Um, I mean, I don't know. It's tough because like you want the like fiery competitor. You want the to have a clip to put in your like welcome to Detroit City Dylan Larkin hype video. But like you also have to realize that like you're the captain and you need to of anyone on the team, you need to be kind of the not necessarily like the cooler heads will prevail mentality, but um can't be taking penalties that cost goals and he obviously I mean, that was, that was the definition of that at the end of a period. So it's hard. It's real difficult. I really want my leader to make it clear that like he will go to war for anyone on the hockey team, but I also don't want my leader in the box for a quarter of a period and having goals scored on us.
Yeah, I'm right there with you in terms of my opinion. I think I might lean a little bit more towards he probably shouldn't have done it in that moment side of
Mhm.
things, but I understand it, It's hard when you're sitting on the couch to when you see your teammate go down like that to not want to jump immediately. It's easy for me on the couch to be like, why did he do that? I get it. And Dylan Larkin early in his career, there was really no one on the team who would stand up for him. I mean, how many times did he get targeted and just nobody came to his aid? And it feels almost as if Larkin is making a point to have that not be the same case for his young teammates. And I love that. And I love the fact that Dylan Larkin's not afraid to get into the mix of it. I love how he's a little bit of a pest. That's all great, but there's a time and a place, and that was neither the time nor the place to abandon your position. And again, it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because it's a meaningless game. I know that the Red Wings, while not eliminated at the time, weren't going to make the
Meaningless for
playoffs.
us. It's not
Yeah,
meaningless for the opponent.
yeah. It just feels like that was Prashant Iyer, I think, said it best on Twitter, where he said, like, that's one of those situations where you just get on the next shift, Dylan Larkin abandoned his position defensively
Yeah,
on what
completely.
was it, a 2-on-2, and he just left and it became a 2-on-1.
Just
And
literally, like, just dipped and
as
just
he
went
skated
after
away,
one individual, yeah.
they scored to tie it up. And then as a result of the scuffle that he, let's be honest, initiated, Jake Wallman got a double minor, and they scored with 3 seconds left on the initial minor.
Right.
And so they had another 2-minute power play, which they didn't thankfully score on, but they scored right after that one ended. So at least 2 goals were the result of Dylan Larkin making that decision. And
Very much
I
2 goals, yeah.
I do
Objectively
feel
2.
I do feel like it was a little bit wrong place, wrong time. But at the same time, I also understand the standing up for your teammates, your young teammates, especially. And in a game like this, it's not like this was a playoff game, right? It's not like losing this hockey game is gonna cost them the season. They lost the season a month ago against Ottawa. So I'm not too broken up about it, but it just felt like it didn't sit right with me, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like totally fair. I'm not gonna be the one to tell you that that's the wrong mindset. I like I said, it's a real fine line, and one that I'm not even sure which side I'm really on. I like obviously
Well, it's not black and white, right?
right, like the play in the moment, like as you said, like very much gave up a goal, like objectively, like pulled was completely like not a part of the play,
He
and
just left.
resulted, yeah, and resulted in a goal. So like that's the first one, and then so like that alone is something that I don't know, like if it was anyone else on the team, you're probably like, oh, like that's something that Larkin and Newsy talked to him about. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
obviously that's a little different when it's your captain. So yeah, it's a real fine line. Again, I love to end the season like
exactly. Yeah.
even in a meaningless game, you know, at the end of the year, we're going into the off season, and I know that at the start of next season, like my captain has my back kind of thing. Like I appreciate that, but um definitely directly led to one goal and indirectly led to probably two goals being scored.
Yeah, it's not black and white. I can see it both ways. I understand it and I respect it. Standing up for your teammate, it just didn't feel like the right place or the right time in that instance. But again, sitting on the couch, it's easy to see that. You know, when you're on the ice and you see your teammate go down like that, you want to jump in and be like, stand up for him. I get it. I do. Just like you'll get great job candidates if you head to Indeed.
It's a pro transition right there, baby.
When you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could handpick the best stars for your business? If you're building your talented roster, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do all of that with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like matching assessments and virtual interviews. Hate waiting? Indeed's U.S. data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Head to Indeed right now, and you'll find out how they're growing your business, and you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. So visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring right now. Again, that is Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. All right, Scotty, now is when we get into the other half of the chaos. We talked about the chaos in terms of the physicality, but now the chaos in terms of the goal scoring. Again, I ask you, where would you like to begin?
I mean, let's just start with Dylan Larkin again. What a pass to Chase on. That, I mean, genuinely one of the crispiest passes you will see. And Chase on, I mean, you already know that's a dog right there. That's objectively like that's a dog. And yeah, man, Lark, unbelievable setup. Great play all around, honestly, to get the puck to Larkin as well. But yeah, definitely an unbelievable pass. I guess I don't know if you want to do like I don't know if we need to do like goal by goal. It was pandemonium. I don't
Yeah.
really know where to start.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really funny to me that Chason keeps scoring on power plays. And the same way, just sitting back door. And he made a great play. He lifted Dahlin's stick. He knew that pass from Larkin was going to come. So he lifted Dahlin's stick so he could just tap it home.
Yeah, no
But
looker.
it cracks me up that he just continues to score on the power play from the same spot. The man hates 5-on-5. He just hates 5-on-5 hockey. He goes, no. He's got 6 goals on the season, and every single one of them has come with the man advantage. 5 on a power play, 1 with the net goalie pulled. Like,
he's not trying to do too much, baby. That's a dog. He knows his job.
And speaking of Dylan Larkin, he also scored in this one. He is the first of 4 players who had multi-point games and a loss. Like, what the hell? He had a goal and an assist in this one, so he tied his career high in goals. And he got an assist as well, obviously, like you just mentioned, for 78 points on the season as he continues to push that career high higher. Let's hope he gets to 80 here. He's above a point per game again. But that goal was like he the pass came from Seider to Raymond to Larkin, but Larkin didn't even shoot. He just redirected the puck.
Yeah.
And he caught Levi while he was sliding and just squeaked right between his pads. And that was one of the first instances where I was like, man, the goaltending in this game is going to be one of those ones. It's going to be a barn burner because Husso, we love Husso, but he wasn't any better in this game. He let probably at least
Husso,
2 in.
I thought Husso was great in overtime, and that was pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, respect for stepping up, in OT, but like that was pretty much the extent of it, I thought. I mean, do you want to? What else to say about the defense? It wasn't good. You allowed a ton of high danger, and Husso was not good either. So
both teams were only good skating forward in this game.
Yeah,
that's
a good way to put it.
Even the defense, when I say the defense was bad, I just mean the team defensively was bad. The defense was good offensively. I mean,
correct.
Wallman had a assist in this one. He almost had the game winner with like 5 seconds left as it went off the defenseman's skate. Seider had 2 points as he got the secondaries.
Stellar offensively.
He did. He really did. Seider had the assist on the Larkin goal, the power play goal, and then he had the primary assisted by Raymond as the secondary on the David Perron goal with a minute left. And what's crazy, so obviously David Perron stays hot as well. Now that's like his 23rd goal in the season, and he is got his 10th point in the last 6 games, and it came with a minute left to tie the game up. But also just the fact that Raymond and Seider rather had both multi-point games. In fact, Raymond had 3 points in this game, 3 assists, just everything. It was chaos, pandemonium. I can't even.
It was chaos. It was definitely, it was absolute pandemonium. The Perron goal was obviously awesome. And I don't know, the reaction from the boys really fired me up. Everybody, I don't know, you would have thought it was a playoff game if you were watching, from the outside there when he scored it, because you got dudes jumping on top of each other, like people freaking out, the crowd going crazy. Obviously, big day in downtown Detroit, so a lot of people going to both games and whatnot. Just vibes were high.
Did something else happen?
Huh?
Did something else happen in downtown Detroit?
You're like, okay. They lost. Okay, they're not a good baseball team. It's still opening day.
Right.
It's still
it was so
very
forgettable
fun.
of a game that I forgot that it happened.
I'm sorry that you refuse to have fun. Also, it was close for 6 innings. Grow up.
I'm just messing with you. Jake Rogers is the GOAT.
It was. I mean, it was really cool, and I'm trying to think of even like what else to really pinpoint. I feel like we're like all over the place, but that's how this game was too. It's
right. We're just reflecting how the game panned out.
Right. It's hard to just like to really like hone in and like Seider, part of the physicality as well. I mean, we kind of talked about that earlier. Really, like throwing the body around there.
There's one more big thing. Jonathan Berggren had a multi-point game. He was on fire, as was the entire 4th line. Now,
how about that sequence at the end of regulation? Berggren, like, he slips, he can't get up, he can't pass the Seider who has a breakaway. Then he gets his own breakaway and just barely misses the game-winning goal with like 3 seconds. Like, it was absolute insanity.
Well, so that happened in overtime, and he had an opportunity near the end of regulation too, where he was out front with the puck in front of Levi, and he was like doing a stutter step, and Levi just stuck with him. And so Berggren was, he's been so good this last handful of games that it's been incredible. He had a goal and an assist in this one, obviously, as well. He had his own goal assisted by Matt Luff on that terrible turnover by the Buffalo Sabres, but also he assisted on the Zarnik goal. What a rocket by Zarnik. Zarnik had a really good game. He actually had the best game on the team, according to expected goals for percentage.
Well, the 4th line was buzzing.
Yes. The entire 4th line is the top 3 players via expected goals for percentage at even strength, but with the caveat that they all played less than 10 minutes at even strength.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to keep that in mind. But I mean, when they were out there, the 4th line was doing work. They all had 70% or better Corsi and 70% or 80% or better expected goals for percentage. They were the most efficient line out there, given the amount of ice time in the competition they played against. They were the most efficient. That's, I think, the best way of saying that. They looked really good. I was really happy. I thought Zarnik played really, really well as well, along with Jonathan Berggren. So, hey, kudos to them. We still lost, though.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, yeah, again, entertaining, to say the least, this game was.
So, I mean, hell. Raymond, Larkin, Berggren, and Seider all had multi-point nights. Like, that's
insane.
And when they were down, it's just crazy because they went down 4-2. And I thought to myself, this game has been so nutty that they could come back. And then they did. And then went down 6-4. I'm like, they're going to come back. Like, we had just seen this. They're going to do it again because I've been watching the game the entire time. And I'm like, Levi's not playing well. Like, he's all over the place. So I'm just like, they're going to tie this up, aren't they? And then they did.
And then they did.
It was a really fun game. And I think that's just the best way of putting it.
It was a fun hockey game.
Do you have any final thoughts on this hockey game, or should we go to break and then transition into the Penguins preview?
Down with the shootout.
Down the shootout.
Oh, and fix 3-on-3 overtime,
Yes.
Dude. What a joke.
Yes.
Golly. I mean, I'm glad the crowd was like booing and whatnot, so that can be like more vocalized. What a joke 3-on-3 OT has become. It's literally just a possession battle, and you either got to have like an over and back rule on the blue line, or just like bring it back to 4v4. I don't know what. If it feels like it's not that hard of a fix, but golly, it needs something.
It doesn't. Definitely
ridiculous.
Definitely do not go back to 4-on-4. I'm against that. And Kent Daniels even said it, and I've said it before on this podcast. You need to do the over and back rule. Like, once you cross the blue line with the puck, you cannot willingly take the puck back out of the offensive zone, because that it's getting ridiculous where, I don't like what I look like, so how it looks, so I'm just going to go back to center ice and we're going to cycle.
Possession game. That's all it is.
Boring. Yeah. It's boring as hell. They need to implement that rule like ASAP. So we'll go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll preview the, I guess, like series finale against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the final game against them of the season. So yeah, stay tuned to Locked On Red Wings. But first, I got to talk to you guys today about FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and unless you're a Pistons fan, in which it might be a couple years away. And now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Red Wings got eliminated, man. I'm down bad.
Clearly,
I'm not even that down bad. I'm just taking shots. If Pistons get one by Yana, they could be good. Because new customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to points scored and threes drained. Scotty, let's take a moment. I don't know the results of my bet yet, so we're going to do this real time to see how bad I was today. I think I only did 2 games. And I don't even remember what they were. I did it like 8 this morning when I was still half awake. So we're going over this real time.
Time to make bets. You definitely, for sure.
Okay, so I bet Wild to win at Penguins, and I lost that one.
Shocker.
And the other one is Golden Knights Kings. I bet Kings money line, dogs on the road, and that one's still open because it's a West Coast game. We're recording this about 10:30, so we'll find that one out when we wake up in the morning. But if you're unlike me and you're a good gambler, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss this chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. It's fun. I will say that. And I also don't put a lot of money down. That way, when I lose, it's just like, whatever. It's fine. But I've been losing a lot recently. Like, too much.
We know, dude.
So it's funny because I started off, when I first started betting this season, I started off 6-0. I think I started feeling myself a little bit. And
yeah, we all believe that, dude. Yep.
What's wrong with you today?
I haven't done anything but just take your crap.
We're going to preview this game against the Pittsburgh Penguins now.
Play some spoilers, baby.
Play some spoilers. How are the Red Wings doing on the season against these pesky Penguins from Pittsburgh. That's called alliteration right there. You
A
should be
lot of
impressed.
alliteration there.
Uh,
Also, can I just say, I respect the heck
out
out
of me.
of the city of Pittsburgh and their ability to have all of their professional sports teams have the exact same color scheme. You know how smart that is?
Oh, it's cool. I hate Pittsburgh though. I don't hate
Well,
Pittsburgh. I
yeah,
hate the
no, I
teams.
mean, yeah, I don't mind the Pirates. Really,
Yeah, that's true. You can't really dislike the Pirates because they're never relevant. So
yeah. Well, also just like yeah, National League, like the like they never like play a heartbreaking like series against the Tigers, really. So great ballpark too. It's just yeah, like I don't like the Steelers, and obviously we all can't stand the Penguins. It's just like I really do think that that's genius. Like all of the pro teams there are all black and yellow, and I just think that that's so smart. And I don't know how they're the only team in the country that has that.
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not
I just feel
their
like it's like I don't know. It's like for culture and identity purposes, it's like a cool thing. Anyway, let's
graphic
play
design is not
spoilers
my
though. Let's
passion.
beat them because I don't like them.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh is fighting for their playoff lives right now. They won against Minnesota on Thursday night, and that's going to get them to 88 points. I think this is updated. Let's see. Because I'm on ESPN. Who knows when they actually update these things? So yeah, they're at 88 points. They're on the outside looking in over the Panthers and the Islanders, who have 89 and 89 respectively. So you can have Pittsburgh come to you on Saturday night, and you can play major spoilers. And you've won both games against the Pittsburgh Penguins so far this season. So you have a 2-0 series lead on that season series. And this is going to be the finale. And it's going to be the second to last game at LCA this year. So this is your opportunity this gives you something to fight for. And I talked about it yesterday, and it is really exciting. This opportunity that the Red Wings have to kind of shut the window, so to speak, on the Pittsburgh Penguins after they robbed you of your last Stanley Cup back in 2009. I know it's like completely different rosters for at least the Red Wings, not so much for the Penguins, as they still have their core and they're the oldest team in the league. Freaking like 35 is their average age. It's insane. But you have an opportunity to really put a damper on their hopes. And, ineffective math always posts those graphics where it's like how your playoff odds fluctuate given a win or a loss. And today against the Minnesota Wild, if they had lost, they would have lost like 50% of their odds of making the playoffs. Like that's how impactful every game is for the Pittsburgh Penguins right now. So if you can beat them and beat them in regulation on Saturday, especially because that gets you to 82 points, and that's that 500 point percentage I want so badly. I mean, that's icing on a cake for a team that's not even in a playoff contention.
Yeah, and you best believe that that's the motivation in everybody in that locker room in Detroit's mindset as well, because that's something that like every single athlete in any sport talks about playing spoilers all the time and like how much pride like those teams take in it and how impactful it is to like teams that are eliminated at the end of the season and whatnot. And again, like we talk about it all the time, man. And like I don't want to just use like the quick hitting words all the time and stuff, but I really do think that stuff carries over and builds a little culture. Like no matter what, like the goal is to win, and if we can prevent someone else from, kind of like the if we're not going, you're not going either type of
Yeah.
mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's also funny is I didn't realize this. So, these Florida Panthers put a whooping on the Ottawa Senators, right? 7-2 was the final. That eliminated the Senators from playoff contention as well, which is just like these two teams
We're
just
so
continue to be
lockstep with
so
everything.
lockstep, everything. But the crazy thing about that Senators game is, so the Panthers won 7-2, right? I want you to
Right.
guess the shot total in this game.
40 to 28.
Who had what?
The Panthers had 40. Did
The
they get
Ottawa
outshot and win 7-2?
The Ottawa Senators lost 7-2, but outshot the Florida Panthers 58-30. That is the most Ottawa Senators loss I've ever seen.
That's
dominate the
unbelievable.
5-on-5 play and still lose.
I'm listening to Locked On Sens tomorrow, let me tell you, because
Or their
that's
postcast
unreal.
tonight. 50 they get eliminated from playoff contention, outshooting their opponent 58-30, but losing by 5 goals.
Right, yeah, that's insane.
That is absolutely insane. But anyways, back to this Pittsburgh Penguins game. As far as the team goes, man, there's not really much to talk about. We just played this team last week. You beat them. You beat them good. It was really fun whenever you beat Pittsburgh like that. You have an opportunity to do it again and just really put a nail in the coffin. That is their season. I don't know what else there is really to say in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. That should be the mindset, and it's doable. As like you said, we've already done it.
Larkin at 78 points has the opportunity to get to 80 points. He has the opportunity to actually finish over a point per game by the end of the season, which I think is what we've been saying for years is his ceiling. And so that's really exciting. Lucas Raymond also got his 100th career point tonight in his 3-point night, which is something we should also, give kudos to. But outside of that, I think that about does it, right, Scotty?
I think that's it.
Okay. Any final thoughts, man?
We ball.
All right. We'll be back with a new episode on Monday to recap this game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, maybe. We'll see, because that is also, we'd have to be recording on Easter if that were the case. So maybe Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. We'll see.
Monday?
Maybe.
We don't play a back-to-back, I feel like.
No, they play Saturday. So
right.
we might, you'll get your recap either Monday or Tuesday. We'll see how we feel the whole Easter thing.
We'll see how our Sundays look.
And happy Easter to those who celebrate. Happy Passover to our other friends. And hey, same time, same place. It's your team.
Fun.
Every day.
Every day.